have already given our credentials to self-claiming. Yes, I can also give it, then they can make a consolidated structure and keep this body. They can show it to us.
Himanshu, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You're able to hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, we can hear you, sir. Hmm?
Good afternoon, Mr. Shubhrata.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. This is Subroto here from Kiwani.
Good afternoon, Mr. Subrato. Anand here from IGBC. We welcome you. Thanks for your valuable time and valuable inputs for all our initiatives. Pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you, Anand. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you can hear my voice clearly because I'm at site. So may not be a good network, but still, hope we can manage it. So
yeah, your voice is bold and clear, and then we are able to see you also, sir. Both
thank you, sir.
audio and video. But thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
black coffee?
Black coffee.
Black coffee? Sure, sir.
Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon,
Mahesh
Mr.
Anand sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Kekda?
Good afternoon, Mahesh. This is
Absolutely, sir.
also here.
Yeah, I'm just looking in a different attire, like, you know.
No issue.
Actually, I'm having a review with my Karnataka team. So all these additional accessories are needed.
Okay.
We could also join you in Karnataka, sir.
Next time, yes. This will be a
Being
lot
a
of
president of the being a president of the decorative paints with being a good friend, I can always say that decorative attire is also equally important, and then we can learn from you.
yeah. Keep it as
You are
colorful
always
as possible.
IPL yellow color T-shirts. We always see you in a very amazing. That's very good to see.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So Imanshu, in another 5 minutes, as soon as Valen comes, we are all set.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm just calling Dr. Whalen.
Yeah. How many registrations, Himanshu, have we touched 400? The magic number.
Yeah, registration has crossed 459. We were at 459,
Wow.
so we are expecting at least 150, 200 people will be attending the session. So Mr. Whalen, Dr. Whalen might join little late within 5 minutes. So if you all agree, we can start the program, sir. Sir, you are on mute, sir.
Sorry, we have 4 minutes. Now let him to 2:54. The clock shows. Mahesh sir and Mr. Subrato, I'm in Pune, sir, for the Green Co Summit.
Oh,
Okay.
Green Co Summit, is it?
Green Co Summit is happening, and we got an overwhelming response. 700 people are there,
Okay.
Oh.
and yesterday we had our advisory board.
Green Pro is
Green
next
Pro
week,
is
right?
next week, sir. 20th and 21st in Bangalore.
Bangalore, Taj West End.
Yes, sir.
Send us at least send me the link. I'll figure it out if I can attend or my subordinate can attend.
Yeah, please, sir. Most welcome, sir. I'll send it now itself. I'll do that.
Yeah, please.
So before Himanshu opens up the floor for live, I'm having a cup of coffee, sir, with your permission, Magesh, and clear the.
You're most welcome.
No, every hotel air conditioning is too cold, actually. In spite of having 700 people, I think the Pune in the weather conditions, all air conditioning is not required in my opinion. I think.
Very true, very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I think we can start the session.
Yeah.
Yeah, Himanshu. Yeah. Shall we, sir? Magesh answer?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, on behalf of the Indian Green Building Council (IGBC), we welcome you all for a very unique and interesting interactive session on the IGBC accredited green building professionals, popularly known as IGBC AP. And then we have amazing stalwarts who are leading the entire IGBC movement, more so on bringing in more people. We have Dr. C. Valen, who is the head of the Capital and Ascendas from Chennai, and he is the chairman for our IGBC Green Education. And we have Mr. Magesh Anand, who is the president and additional director for Nippon Paint India, and he is our IGBC co-chair Chennai chapter also, and who has done a fabulous job in integrating more and more his technical team members, marketing team members, becoming into the green buildings and IGBC AP. So we welcome Mr. Magesh Anand, Dr. C. Velan, and another great friend, Mr. Subrato De, who's a strong supporter of all our innovative approaches by his Kiwane Lab. Hope I'm pronouncing your company name correctly. Sorry for the Kiwane Labs. And he's a strong supporter and of all our initiatives, especially in the last couple of years. He and his entire team is integrated into all the IGBC activities, adding value to our stakeholders. So mostly, I'll be briefly talking about the whole agenda is going to be a very brief opening remarks to set the tone. Then we have our colleague Ms. Rekha, who's heading the entire architect Sri Rekha. She's heading the entire IGBC Green Education Program, and she is with us for more than 2 decades in IGBC. And she will make a brief presentation on what are the opportunities, why IGBC AP is very important, and to give a micro level inputs. Then the most important part is we'll having a beautiful fireside or interactive fireside chat with Dr. C. Velan, Magesh Anand, and Mr. Subrato on sharing their very unique experience that is going to add more value to all the participants who have joined us in this particular interactive session. So once again, on behalf of the Indian Green Building Council (IGBC), I welcome all the participants for this unique interactive session on IGBC Green Accredited Professional, which is popularly known as IGBC AP. So I am at a Greenco Summit. Today morning, Dr. Masalkar, during the inaugural, he mentioned about many things which struck me is India is always known for IT, they say, he said, but IT doesn't limit to only information technology. It is all about Indian talent. He has given a new dimension. The Indian IT is all about Indian talent. So the Indian talent is always unique, which has spearheaded many breakthrough technologies and the growth of the country for the several decades. That is how you beautifully articulated. So we in IGBC always believe in that. So how do we bring in more and more talent, irrespective of whether you are an architect or an engineer or an MBA with marketing, you are involved in design, you are involved in marketing services or consulting or labs to test the products and services. All of them can become a part of the Indian green building movement. So this IGBC accredited professional, IGBC AP is a lifetime credential actually, which enhances the green building professionals who are aspiring to be a part of the green building movement, add more value to the projects, both at the design stage, project or specifiers, as well as in the existing buildings and built environment. So this is one of the unique and the first of its kind accredited professional we started way back in 2005-6. More than 6,500 plus professionals are already mostly engineers and architects or IGBC accredited professionals who are adding more value to more than 11,000 projects across the country. We will hear more from my colleague Ms. Rekha, which gives a greater recognition for the commitment of every individual on the sustainability. Here again, our chairman, Mr. Godrej, and others mentioned very beautifully during yesterday's and today's interaction. Sustainability is all about now how do we accelerate. Now you will hear from more from Magesh Anand and Subrato and others, Dr. Velan also. Hundreds of classical examples, the case studies, solutions are already available with us right in front of us. So how do we accelerate it? How do we scale it up to the next level in every single typology of the building? So IGBC accredited professionals are the one who acts like a conduit between the project and their vision and the owner's brief and India becoming a net zero carbon emitter by 2070. So all the IGBC accredited professionals play a very, very vital role in realizing and making this particular owner's dream or the country's commitment on the global forums on reducing the carbon emissions or providing a much more healthier spaces and bringing down the energy demand or energy bills and water bills for the individual project level, or providing a much more healthier and happier spaces for every occupant and protecting the biodiversity also. That is also equally important. It is not that only we are interested in bringing down the energy bills and water bills. We are equally interested in enhancing the biodiversity also. So today, as I mentioned, we'll be more than happy to know that more than 6,500 plus architects and engineers across the country have become an IGBC accredited professionals who have played a very, very vital role in India achieving 10 billion square feet, along with the great green champions and the other stakeholders. So the roles of IGBC accredited professionals have been immense in the IGBC certification process, both in the existing and the new building projects, and they are able to fully understand the parameters of a building to be planned right from the design stage. How do I specify the building parameters, be it a wall, paint, sealants, adhesives, glasses, air conditioning, lighting, all of that. And in the existing building, how do they enhance by having a deep retrofitting in the old buildings by changing the equipment systems in order to bring down the energy demand. So these are all the things facilitated and implemented by IGBC accredited professional. Again, they play a very, very big role in greening all the typologies. As you are hearing from us, the residential properties, both existing healthcare, metro networks, airports, data centers, houses, all office space. Himanshu, there is an echo coming. Okay. The warehouses, and even we have launched a very small project. As an individual, I'm only constructing 800 square feet house in a small plot of mine, wherein I don't want to hire a consultant and others. There also IGBC APs are able to play a vital role in designing a small house, which can be able to bring in more daylight, more fresh air, select the product so that services which will. So we formally welcome Dr. C. Velan, the chairman of the IGBC Green Education, to this unique interactive session for the IGBC accredited professionals. Welcome, sir. So the IGBC AP's role, you will hear more from Rekha and our elite panelist, Dr. Velan, Magesh, and Subrato. And then with all collective vote of all the Indian construction industry stakeholders, India today has more than 11,000 projects from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Kohima from the easternmost side to the Kutch on the westernmost part, covering almost all the typologies. We have 10.271 billion square feet. I repeat it, 10.271 billion square feet is adopting only IGBC's 31 different rating programs, which is able to add more value to the entire stakeholders. The industry demand is huge. In fact, my chairman, Dr. Raylan, is not so happy with the IGBC AP. He wanted to add a couple of zeros after the 6,500 because we have become the most populous country. And then this is one of the initiatives under his leadership. We want more and more IGBC accredited professionals, and there is a huge opportunities lying in front of all of us, be it on the government projects, be it on the infrastructure projects, be it on the residential, commercial, data center, you name it. 70% of India, what we see in 2050 or 2060, is yet to be built. So there is a great opportunity for each one of you who are listening to this session or being a part of this interactive session of IGBC AP, has a greater opportunities lying in front of all of us. So we in IGBC once again welcome you all for this unique and a very special interactive session with the industry leaders like Dr. Velan, Magesh, and Mr. Subrato. So once again, we welcome you all for this particular session, and my now request Rekha to share the IGBC Green Education initiatives in alignment with how all the IGBC APs are going to add more value. Over to you, Rekha.
Thank you, Mr. Anand, for that kind introduction and also setting the note for today. So I feel privileged to be part of this session today and sharing the session with the eminent panelists, and as well as to be in front of all of you to give the information on the IGBC certain green building movement and also about the accredited professionals. So I'll just try to share the screen. Yeah. Hope my screen is visible. Yeah, thank you. Of course, Mr. Anand has already said the note. Maybe many of you might be aware about IGBC and the green building movement we have started from past 2 decades. But just a few of them who are joining new, I would like to just touch upon the about IGBC, what we do, and where we have started our movement. So this is where our green building movement started in the country, the first green building in the country, CI Shohrabji Godrej Green Business Center. And this is the headquarters of IGBC. So we started this green building to take a moment of sustainability. So we want to practice it before we preach it. And this became the first green building, and we have tried to implement many green measures as part of this building. So IGBC has been formed by CI in 2001 with a vision of enabling sustainable built environment for all, and India to be one of the global leader in sustainability. We are also founding member of World Green Building Council, and we actively take part in various activities at the Asia level and at the World GBC level also. From India, IGBC, the Indian Green Building Council, actively take parts in World GBC activities. So this is how we have been from past 2.5 decades almost. So with starting of our own building of 20,000 square foot office building, we are on 10.27 billion square foot, as Mr. Anand has indicated. So which is making us to be one of the top country to have the green building footprint. Yes, this could be possible because of all of us like you, either being part of a consultant or either being part of a designer or a developer. Even as you can see, our corporate heads who are part of today's panelists, these all have been part of our green building movement, and we are trying to become more and more successful. Council, as in a IGBC, we try to do just as in a brief, we are in a certifying authority, of course. We certify the green buildings in the country. We develop the standards. We have about 31 rating systems. So we develop the guidelines for the projects to follow. We are into policy and advocacy. Our parent company being an industry association, we try to involve with the government and try to come up with a new policy and advocacy related to the sustainability concepts. Though IGBC Secretariat is in Hyderabad, we do have 29 local chapters headed by the various stakeholders again from the industry. So they are trying to take this awareness on the green buildings and trying to lead the local communities and the local cities to evolve in sustainability concepts. Being an industry association, even IGBC has a membership activities. So whatever the building stakeholders we take, either architects or the civil engineers, consultants, the service providers, manufacturers, developers, the corporates, all of them, this becomes a larger network. As you can see, we have nearly about 2,000 members, stakeholders part of IGBC who are steering our green building movement. So. In IGBC, we also have the green education activities. Of course, further, I'll be explaining detail in that. As part of this, we do a lot of awareness sessions, like we have one of the session today, and training programs, and one international conference called Green Building Congress every year. Of course, many of us definitely are aware. Nowhere I need to introduce about the green building. If you compare where we started our journey, that time we need to give a clear indication and definition about it. Again, to reiterate it, green building is the one which conserves natural resources, uses less water, optimizes energy efficiency, generates less waste, and provides a healthier space. This all, in fact, you can relate to our challenges we are facing in day to day. Either it can be there is a water scarcity, or you can see about how the environmental pollution is increasing, or how our natural resources are getting depleted. Any of the challenge, what we are trying to see, that challenges we are trying to overcome through this green building strategy getting implemented. Coming to the tangible benefits when we talk about in green buildings, yes, of course, it comes from the operational cost. From the day one, we say that if you compare to the conventional building, in green buildings, there are 30 to 50% energy savings and water savings of 20 to 30%. Of course, we are seeing the savings comparing to the benchmarks set by the various standards and codes which are from national bodies as well as the international bodies, and we are over and above these benchmarks set by the standards. We are trying to see in our green buildings this operational costs are definitely they're having a tangible benefit. Intangible benefit, though I cannot quantify, but definitely they make more and more sense. So we reduce the impact on the environment, and we create such a space in our building such that it becomes more healthier space, and also people feel more comfortable, which makes it a more productivity increase in our green buildings. So having said that, green buildings are required, and also we have seen about benefits. Just to give you certain numbers and also give that more confidence on the what kind of impacts we have created. So this is about the numbers of some 2,000 around certified green building projects which have been performing from past 2 decades. You can see that the kind of environmental benefits they created. The carbon emission reductions, there are about 12,000 tons of carbon emission reduction in these green buildings. Energy savings, you can see about 15,000 megawatt hour. Water savings about 45,000 kiloliters. And the waste, which is also another important challenge as a country we face, there is management of about 450 tons of the waste management we have tried to do. So all these numbers, what you see, it's just 2,000 buildings we are able to create this impact. Imagine every one of us who are part of this green built environment can contribute towards these green buildings and the various measures we indicate in our green building guidelines. We can see that the kind of impacts it can create, and also much more benefits we can get out of it. IGBC has developed this rating system. This is just in a guideline book, okay? This should be seen as in a tool for any project, either at any stage they are, whether he's an architect or he's in a contractor, or he's in a developer or an owner. So this tool is trying to guide them in the design or construction as well as the operational level. What are the various green measures you can try to implement them? So this becomes as a normal practice when you try to do in your projects. And we can see there is a good market transformation when you apply these rating systems. In our green building rating systems, we address about key 5 areas: site selection and planning, water conservation, energy efficiency, building materials and resources, and indoor environmental quality. All these 5 elements, as I said, this is in a holistic approach, starting from design to the maintenance level we are trying to address. So all these topics, in fact, they have subtopics which we try to address holistic way so that the building can be more in a sustainable way. And in fact, in your IGBC AP exam as well, the topics related to the exam will be coming from these modules only. So these are part of our rating systems, and based on this topics only, we'll be having our IGBC AP questions. So IGBC is the only council in the world where we have 31 rating systems addressing the different typologies and categories. So you can see whether it can be a commercial sector, residential sector, the education, healthcare, and even as well the built environment. So not only up to the building level, even at the built environment level, the rating systems have been developed. So the places where we live or where we work, where we pray, and also we transit. In fact, as in a transit, you can see even for railway stations, metro stations also, we do have the rating system available. So each typology is addressing the core requirements, the challenges, what need to be addressed in that sector. And we have these rating systems available. The project team can appropriately choose them and try to implement in their project. So when we say these green building rating systems, they are in line with, of course, our national standards as well as the international standards. Not only standards, even the UN nations have developed sustainable development goals, as we all know. These are becoming very popular, and India is one of the country which is predominantly representing the UN nations, and we are trying to show our efforts in meeting these sustainable development goals. So UN nations have developed about 17 SDGs. Out of 17 SDGs, 14 SDGs are directly or indirectly addressed in our rating systems. So when you are trying to implement these green building measures, you can feel that, ensure that yes, you are in line with even UN SDGs, which are globally people are addressing. So these are the various concepts, as I've said, and the 14 SDGs we are trying to relate in our green buildings. Of course, as you have seen in the few slides I have shared, we have started with the buildings initially. Later on the decade, we have moved to the built environment. So beyond the buildings, how we can address sustainability aspects we try to address in built environment. Now, going with the current trends and the requirements, we are into the net zero concepts as well. So IGBC has launched its mission on net zero. Definitely, many of you might be aware that in the recent COP, India has committed that by 2070, we will be reducing our carbon emissions. In order to meet that, from the building sector side, we had kept a vision of to facilitate India to become the foremost country to transform net zero. So in our buildings perspective, we would like to address this by 2050. We are aiming to reduce the carbon emissions in our buildings. So more than 350 plus organizations have already signed in this net zero mission, and they are trying to convert all their policies, and they're working towards to transform their companies and organizations towards net zero. As the green buildings requirement and the demand has increased, there was also demand for Green Pro. So the products, Green Pro is nothing but a product certification. So CA also has a division called Green Pro. It's an eco-labeling of product. We use the 14,024 ISO standards. So based on these standards, the product is assessed addressing the complete life cycle analysis. Okay, starting from raw materials to how it is manufactured, how it is used, and as well as how it is recycled after the user also. So complete cradle to cradle, it has been considered, and we do analysis and we certify the products. So under Green Pro, we already have 6,600 plus products which have been already certified green, and the players, the eminent speakers who are part of today's our panelists as well, even their products have been certified under this green product certification. So you can see that more than 80% of the products which are used in our green buildings have been certified. And our Green Pro is also recognized by the Eco Labeling Network. It's in a global network, so it is being recognized by them. And we can see that a lot of product manufacturers also showing their commitment towards the sustainability. Okay, now let me get into our main topic of today, that is about the how we are trying to address our education or trying to facilitate our industry to have the more and more green professionals. Of course, we are aware the construction industry is growing rapidly. The surveys indicate that every year there is a minimum of 5 to 8% growth in our construction industry. At this rate, when we are having construction, there is also requirement of demand. The industry indicates that there is a demand of 1 lakh trained professionals every year for us on the green buildings and the green concepts. So maybe the 1 lakh number, immediately when you hear, you will see like, or you'll feel like it's a big number, how she can say about this. So it's not just about from one kind of a sector. So let me show you some of things like government initiatives. We all know government is coming up with various sustainability initiatives like smart cities development, Swachh Bharat mission, ECBC compliance, or star rating appliances. So all these initiatives, if they have to be implemented on ground, they need lot of trained professionals to be there. So there are enormous opportunities even at the government level they are trying to indicate. And you might be aware, even the recent are the financial, when they have launched the budget, they have also had certain budget on sustainability investments in the country. So this gives us a lot of confidence that yes, government is also encouraging the sustainability. And in the industry, of course, you take a name of larger corporates, they are having their own sustainability department. In fact, you will be hearing more from the experts itself in the next panel. So they have their own sustainability department who are trying to put forward their organization policies on working towards all their buildings should go green. They should have tried to work towards net zero approach, and they are trying to do something on ESG, which is another important topic people are trying to implement in their companies, which is on environment, social, and governance. All of these, if they want to implement, even the corporates are looking for the trained professionals. And of course, the corporate is also looking for the capacity building for their own staff. And even our green building movement over the past 2 decades, these are the new services and opportunities have emerged. So if you ask like 2 decades before whether these consultants are there in the market, definitely they were not there. But now you can see that there are green building consultants. In fact, the architectural offices and the engineering offices, they started promoting that not only are their design consultancy, they will also provide the green building consultancy. So they're coming with a combination of it. Energy simulators, so which can help at the starting, at the design stage itself, how your building can perform better in energy. Commissioning agents, how whether your building equipment is integrated better or not. So the trainers for the capacity building and the third party assessors which are required for our green building certification. So you can see that even the green building movement has created the new services and opportunities. So all of this, as you can see that the numbers, what I have indicated, there is a requirement for the trained professionals is there definitely in our Indian market. So with the vision of India to have largest pool of trained professionals, IGBC has launched this green education program. And we have already been doing, though the green education program recently from past 4-5 years, we are doing actively. we started from initial stage itself when IGBC has started our movement. So we do a lot of awareness sessions, training programs, and you can see even at the student chapters also, because students being our future professionals, they are going to set our nation. So we have student chapters in various engineering and architecture colleges where we actively involve with them and try to do various programs along with their collaboration. We do training program for professionals, and of course we have IGBC accredited professional exam. So the IGBC AP, the objective of this accredited professional exam is to recognize the consultants or to recognize the professionals who are in the market and they are aware about our sustainability concepts, and they can also contribute towards our green building industry. So we have this IGBC accredited professional exam, and also the main objective, other objective, is to meet the demand of qualified IGBC APs is another objective. So, of course, when you talk about the role, Mr. Anand also has indicated during his welcome note. So, IGBC AP takes a proactive role in educating all the consultants or the project team who are part of it. They handhold the project team in implementation of their green measures and how they can also try to get them a better certification. Of course, the documentation part, which are required part of the certification process. So, in fact, they act as a major consultant or a major role in terms of communicating between the project team, between to the project owner to their own consultants to a certifying body. So they have a complete holistic role to play in a building, green building, when it is going for implementation as well as a certification. So to encourage IGBC APs, we do have one credit exclusively being given in all our rating systems. So when a project has an IGBC AP, and if he is a participant of that project, they get one credit also. This is just a certain incentive and also to encourage project teams to have IGBC AP. Since I'm just talking about AP exam, let me just give certain modalities or how the exam happens. So it's completely an online exam. People can appear it from home or office. Any professional who is more than 2 years of experience can appear for this exam. Of course, who are the students and the freshers, we have separate certifications courses for them as part of the green education activities. But for professionals, we do have the IGBC AP exam. This exam does not have any negative marking, and it's about 1.5 hours is the time duration generally have. They have about 110 questions as part of the exam. So exam generally carries about certain 4 sections, which are I'll be explaining in the coming slide. So which you can address them and as part of the sections, and it doesn't mean that in the exam you have clicked one answer, it is locked. You can always uncheck and again reattempt that question. So during the exam process, there is a facility that you can check on whatever the answers you have answered or unanswered, and even which are you have something on the any questions like which are you have certain doubts, so you can keep that questions under review and you can revisit them during that time process. So there is about 90 minutes time, as I've indicated, for this exam you're going to take. So it happens on every first and third Saturday in a month. So people can register it on our website and they can choose on their preferable time. So on completion of 90 minutes time, immediately the result will be displayed there itself, so they know about their score. So as we said, this is an online exam. It's completely proctoring based exam. So we have certain, everything has been, the compatibility has been set. So that exam can be properly taken and they will be not facing any issue during the online process. So these are the 4 sections which are part of our green building IGBC accredited professional exam. The first section is about green building design and construction. the purpose, the objective of this session is we want to understand whether the candidate or the professional is aware about the green building design and construction measures which need to be implemented. Okay, so you are going to be certified as an accredited professional. So definitely you should be aware about the design and the construction measures. And this is a very important section because it carries the maximum marks. So based on their understanding on these design measures and the construction measures, we will be assessing on this module. The second section talks about the standards and codes. Okay, in our rating systems, as I said, we take benchmarks of the various standards and codes. So whether the candidate is aware about the standard which he has to refer for certain implementation. Suppose in our, just taking one example, in our green buildings, we recommend that you have to go for better stormwater management. So National Building Code is a standard where we say that you can refer to NBC and try to implement your stormwater management practices. Okay, for your in exam, we will not ask what will be there as part of your NBC talks about the measures to be implemented, but what we ask is, okay, for your stormwater management practices, which standard or code you have to refer. So the person or the professional should be aware at least which benchmarks he has to refer for certain green measures to be implemented. That is the intent of this section. The third section, IGBC resources and processes. Okay, so when you are going to facilitate a project, definitely you should be aware about what are the certain processes are followed during the certification of a green building. So that is the objective of this section. So whether candidate is aware about these processes and resources or not, we will be getting to know. The last section is about green design strategies and impacts. Of course, you are aware about the design measures, you are aware about codes and everything. But unless, as a professional, I believe that yes, this green measure is beneficial. It is going to create that impact. Unless we have that confidence, we will not follow it. So that is the intent. If you are aware about the design strategies and the impacts they are going to create because of, or the benefits we are going to have because of implementation of various green measures, those kind of questions will be addressed as part of the section 4. Okay, these are the 4 sections, and our IGBC, the accredited professional exam, is completely based on our green new building rating system. So green building new rating system, in fact, we call it as a mother of all rating systems, where it addresses all the green building concepts. So that will be part of, if you refer to that guide, definitely you will be able to take this exam easily. And in fact, not only that, as I've said, as part of the education programs, we do various events. So in case you are new to the industry and you're not much aware about green building concepts, we have the upcoming training program, which is a unique program. We call it as IGBC Green League. The phase 1 of this program we have already finished in July. Now we are going to have in August, the second phase, which is from 1st to 5th August. It's an online program. This 4 to 5 days, they are going to address all the green building concepts, which I've said earlier. And it will also facilitate you in understanding not only about the green building concepts, but also clearing your IGBC AP exam. So any one of you are interested, definitely you can participate in our IGL, which is upcoming. It's an online program. We would be happy to support you in anything required, and our team also will be helping you for registration of this process. Of course, as I said, we do one international conference every year. So we have our Green Building Congress. This year, we are going to have this in November 23rd, 24th, and 25th in Chennai. You all will definitely receive in future again about more information on this conference, where we have international and national experts being part of this Congress. And this is a great Expo also will be part of this conference, where various products and the equipment related to green buildings will be exhibited. So you can just make a note of it. And before I end my presentation, let me take you as an individual, how you can be together with an IGBC. So today, as being part of this awareness session is just a starting point. So we say that even, as I said, our education programs or whatever we are trying to do from the students in the colleges itself, we say that the growth starts with our green education courses, where at the undergraduate and postgraduate we are working. Later, we are doing the accredited professional exam as well as advanced training programs, IGL sessions, where a lot of professionals and industries are being part of it. Not only that, as you're continuing your growth in sustainability, we also recognize such people who are contributing towards the green building movement, and we recognize them as an IGBC fellow. So you can see that throughout your career, you are in line with us. In fact, we would like to be part of your career growth, and we can collaboratively work together so that we can make our India to be more sustainable, and we can create enormous opportunities, and we contribute that sense of pride that we did a certain contribution to our society as well as to the nation on implementing these green measures. So that's about a short presentation about our green building movement and IGBC accredited professional exam. So I think, yes, some of you have raised your hand. I'll be happy to take any queries you have.
Thank you, Rekha, for taking us through the various initiatives of IGBC rating program, the recent achievement, as well as on the IGBC Green Education Program, and more for the focus on the IGL, the IGBC Green League, which is all the more popular, similar to IPL. IGL is also becoming more and more popular amongst the construction sector. So, with the permission from Mr. Magesh and Mr. Subrato, Mr. Velan has to catch a flight and he has to leave a bit early. I will take the few questions from him. I'll take his best of him before he pushes out. It's okay with you, sir? Magesh and Subrato?
Please, always.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Magesh.
Thank you
For your.
Thank you
So,
for considering
dear
that.
participants, as I said, Dr. C. Velan is a pioneer in the field of Indian construction industry for more than 35 years of experience in very prestigious organizations and globally acclaimed projects across the country. And presently, he is the head of the property management in Capita Land and Asandas. And he is also a IGBC's National Executive Board member for more than 15 years. And he is also chairing the IGBC's Green Education Program as the founder chairman. And before you push off, Mr. Velan sir, I would love to, you being heading the Capita Land is one of the global developer who is having enormous amount of unique, iconic, and world-class facilities across the country. And how, in your opinion, green jobs in India is all set to rise by 15% or 20%, what the green education vision is all about, or Rekha also mentioned. So India is also all set to become a net zero carbon path on by 2070, though it is another 56 years away, but we cannot be complacent. So being a chairman of the IGBC's Green Education Committee, which is very, very unique, what are your based on your rich experience of more than 3 decades, what would be your inspirational advice, I would say, tongue in cheek, and I normally you don't like the word advice, but nevertheless, advice or the every participants who may be having a rich experience, how this investment on this at least 1.5 hours, I'm seeing this as an inspiring investment which will integrate them into whatever we are all doing it into a greater innovation. That is what I'm seeing, all these 3 eyes. How this investment on their own time on inspiring. So I would love to touch how the participants can upskill their domain expertise and become a more and more greater value added true champion as a green building professional. Over to you, Dr. Velan.
Thank you very much. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I think it is very interesting to be part of this particular session. Reason being, my friends, I just want to touch it upon like this. Wherever I've worked in the past and currently also, the terminology of a green building or net zero or carbon neutral has become very, very crucial for our existence. Rather, I can put it earlier, it used to be choice. You can go for green building or not. That was a choice when we were initially starting in the year early 2000 kind of thing, 2002, 2003 kind of thing. Now the green building is a must. Whomever is building any kind of office building, commercial building, or residential, retail malls, anything, hospitals, it has become a kind of a necessity that you need to be green. It's not only for your own, but if you are going for multi-tenanted or you are building for some other office usage, they preferably ask for a green building. Now, I can go one more step further. The second step also has come, that net zero, as Anand and Rekha were talking about it. The new terminology of net zero energy, net zero water, net zero waste has become very, very popular in the industry now. Reason being, without going for all these three categories, either one or two, all the three, you will not be able to service a customers going forward. It is going to be very, very crucial for that. For example, if you talk about net zero energy, obvious reasons, it gives you two distinct factors. One is a design efficiency level, how you can able to reduce the energy demand. Other one is using the renewable power. Like that, and all various formats which are put in place in our business now. Any builder, any multinational companies, whether they are going to own their own campus or they are going to be tenant in some other premise, they are all very particular about green building, green net zero, all those factors. So coming to the capital and my own experience in this particular organization, that in sustainability is everything we do. In everything we do, sustainability has been kept in mind. For example, when we are constructing a building, when we are operating a campus or built environment, anything, sustainability should be core area of focus. For your interest, I'm quoting, I have almost about 50 to 60 engineers working in projects, and about 30, 35 of them are already there in projects and operations. So almost 80 odd people we have in the company. Out of 80, we have 60 of them are already accredited professional certified. What it means, it is not just like that for the sake of certification we do. If you are having the knowledge of green, sustainability, net zero and all, you will make other people also habituated that you need to be focused on green power, green buildings kind of thing. So that is the intention with which we are encouraging the employees to go with green building accredited professional certification. So we also go one step further. If a person is green IGBC AP certified, we also give them a little bit of more weightage when we are sourcing them for the company. So in any case, developers and builders are critically looking at it. IGBC AP as one of the primary requirement in their business. So I stop here, and maybe next question you can take it up, and then I will come back in case any clarifications are there.
Thank you, Dr. Velan, for articulating it. Next question is also will follow on the same lines what you mentioned. Since you mentioned already your in-house team has 65 IGBC APs, as well as your when you are hiring a design firm or a consulting firm or MEP consultants for your projects of capital land, which are all world-class and iconic, how these IGBC accredited professionals within your team, as well as the consultants whom you are hiring with the title of IGBC AP, whether they are an architect or a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer or a landscape architect, whatever, irrespective of their core competent area, how they are able to add more value and raise the bar in terms of bringing in more and more cutting edge, innovative solutions aligned with your capital land's owner's brief, which you wanted to make it, this is should be my EPA value, or data center should have a PU value of say 1.4 or 1.5 or lesser the better. So how these IGBC AP within your group, as well as the team members involved in the design, construction and the maintenance, or operational stages also. How is IGBC able to enable, realize your whatever the owner's brief on ground? Over to you, Dr. Velan.
Superb question. Basically, one thing I want to highlight here, when you have a knowledge on this green as well as net zero kind of thing, which the IGBC, APC, AP certificate people are already having in their mind or in their practice, it will be very easy to get into a conversation between them and implement all those things in the design phase itself. So basically, if you look at any project, the planning phase comes as a critical area. If the planning is perfect, your 60% of the project success is ensured. So if you mean, what do you mean by that? If the planning stage or design stage, if you are able to provide appropriate, inputs or design intents are taken care with the green and all those things, then the project is for sure it is going to be a grand success in terms of sustainability angle. Having said that, coming to your question, the people or consultants or all the stakeholders involved in the project are IGBC AP certified mean there is a common thinking, there's a common language in their conversation, which makes the decision faster. If the decision is faster and clear, then the delivery is ensured. That way, we are all very much benefited when the people inside the organization and the other consultants associated with projects are having IGBC AP, which helps not only on the design phase, when you are getting into construction phase, when your waste is to be recycled, how we have to choose the site, how we have to monitor the project in terms of sustainability. Everything is known to IGBC AP with a little bit of experience after that, which will facilitate the project not only on the design phase, but also on the execution phase, besides the operational phase. It helps a lot in terms of overall performance of the project on the whole. That's where it is, Mr. Anand.
Thank you, Dr. Velan, for articulating very beautifully on the one. For me, it is revealing that all the consultants are all talking in the common language. That itself is a great achievement. IGBCAP, whether you are from your firm or architectural or from the PMC, that is a great. And second, you summed it up by saying that how it is able to enhance the performance to the next level. So the next question is, you are able to showcase many cutting edge and tomorrow's technology is being implemented well ahead of the curve in your projects, in your entire experience earlier as well as in Capital and Ascenda's proverb. So how this IGBC AP's interventions will help you, and I want you to motivate the prospective IGBC APs, how they are going to play a vital role in scaling it up. This 10 years or 8 years, we are going to say this till 2030 as a decade of deployment. Every solutions, Abraham's glass, this and that, everything is available in abundance. So what is your message for this IGBC APs, or how they should get involved in IGBC training programs and other elements and become an IGBC AP, so that this next 8 years, as on today till 2030, which is going to define the India's path on net zero carbon by 2070, what is the role of these IGBC APs based on your rich experience and the benefits? Over to you, sir.
It is very, very crucial. I can put it why crucial. See, the time what we have is something like, okay, I'll put it like this. Every project has a life cycle, start to end. And then there is another life cycle, we call it as operational life cycle. Or it will be asset life cycle, right? From project development, then operations, and then it goes for 20 years, 25 years like that. If initial, I can say very carefully, listen this, IGBC, APC, AP, aspirants. You look at it when you are looking at the long-term benefits of a property or asset. The initial, the contribution of the professionals that matters. We call it as in a simple language. If the foundation is strong, the building is performance will be appropriately stronger. So if AP certified professionals are involved in a project, involved in a business of that particular builder industry or developer industry or any kind of own construction, township, anything, it is going to benefit that occupants of that particular campus or a building for long run, for life of the building actually. So it means what? I mean, IGBC, APC professionals are having an excellent future excellent opportunity to contribute not only for yourself, but also for the people working or living in that particular building or whatever the campus you are involved with. And on top of it, operationalization of the campus is also going to benefit the everyone occupying that building in terms of cost benefit. So in my opinion, IGBC APs can contribute a lot for your own employment, your own associative, relative society, whomever is around, to have a good environment, good ambience, good living, how do I say, the healthier living. On top of everything, there is a commercial advantage you are going to create besides the environmental protection. So on the whole, IGBC APC for you people as aspirants, please focus on IGBC AP certification. As Rekha and Anand was there mentioning, we have hardly about 6,000 professionals today. And if you are able to add another zero to that in next 1 year is what our target is, it's going to make a major difference for the industry. As Anand was mentioning, Rekha was also mentioning, 1 lakh professionals required for every year. I am telling in my own organization in India, about 17 million square feet of campus, only we have about 65 IGBC AP certified professionals. It means in India, we have 670 million square feet of office buildings alone available here. You look at how much is the demand. That means how much is going to be the growth of this industry for the next 15 years. There will be huge demand for IGBC professionals who can not only getting employment, but also support the environment as well as the society on the whole. Please go ahead. Please do your preparation. And it is very, 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 very comforting and easy way of closing that business for you in the future. All the very best. Yeah, over to you, Anand.
Thank you, Dr. Velan, for beautifully articulating the importance as well as the significant role every IGBC AP can play in the projects coming up or already up and running in India. Once again, me in IGBC, thank you for being a part of it in spite of your busy schedule to catch a flight or
sorry.
Thanks for joining us as an IGBC Green Education Chairman. I think the false ceiling tiles above you shows that you are in Hyderabad, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, you are absolutely right. I'm traveling back to Chennai now. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes, right.
Okay.
Thank you, Anand.
Right, thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Which is IGBC certified also.
Thank you, everybody. All the best.
Thank you. So now let me turn the spotlight to Mr. Magesh Anand and Mr. Subrato De. As I mentioned, Mr. Magesh Anand is a part of our IGBC's National Executive Board for more than a decade, and he is also the present co-chairman for IGBC Chennai chapter. And then he is one of the very, very unique in terms of only paint manufacturing company in the whole world, if I can tell, operating out from a CII's green co-certified factory, and all his product ranges which are all certified under IGBC's Green Pro rating program, which is a very, very phenomenal one which has transformed the entire painting industry. And then whole world is appreciating the laudable efforts led by him in the Nippon Paint, which has transformed the entire paint and paint manufacturing and application, and his leadership and commitments are phenomenal. In fact, we are coming from this unique program, what he has conceived and done it in a big scale recently is the air-centric life into the business and environment was the one which saw a very big success recently in Delhi. So thanks Magesh Anand from Nippon Paint for sharing, coming and joining us in this particular unique session. So to start with, Mr. Magesh, Nippon Paint has set an excellent leadership when it comes to sustainability, taking care of not only the homeowners who are going to occupy or the office owners who are going to occupy, the applicators. Sometimes, ever since we started in IGBC, the applicators are the one who suffer or take the brunt from the VOCs and the chemicals when they apply the paint on the surface. So how the exemplary performance or bringing in the leadership of sustainability as a core of the business, what is the thought process in making your own facilities as a Green Pro, more so, Green Co, and more so on the entire product range from Nippon paint coming out as IGBC's Green Pro rating program, which is a globally eco-labeling network, Gen certified, Gen acknowledged also. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Anand. Thanks for IGBC team for inviting me for this session. And good evening, all listeners, the participants. So before I start, I just request all of you to come and join us in the Indian Green Building Congress, which is happening in Chennai. And being a co-chair for Chennai, it's my duty to welcome you all, invite you all for this event. And as we have been doing a lot of precursor events. It's happening in Chennai. In fact, the concept was to have an awareness program. IGBC's the core pillar, or the sustainability core pillar, stands on the 5 natural elements of nature. The 5 elements of nature. That's what Dr. Prem Jain used to tell us. During his any sessions, he'd say that talk about this. I mean, let us try and preserve nature. So we have completed 2 elements. One was on water. We said water-wise. That event happened in May, and just about 2 weeks back, we completed air-centric program. So both are basically, as far as water is concerned, we were just bringing in the concept of don't pollute the water. And NK Ranganath spoke very well on that event, saying that nobody can destroy water, nobody can create water. Only thing they can only pollute water, and let us not pollute water and keep it preserved for the future generations. Similar way for air. Air is more important for every living being. So how do we keep the air pure? By our own efforts. And how do I keep the oxygen content high in the air atmosphere, so that we are very healthy and we live in a safe environment? And paint play a small role in that. So we explained that in that event actually. So coming to question of Anand, Nippon Paint is as an organization which is 140 years old, Japanese company, and we make paints the way we make paints of ourselves. Like how Nippon Paint makes paint is very unique of its kind, and so the vision is to make eco-friendly, more sustainable paints, and that will be human friendly and environmental friendly, and that automatically gives you the purpose of business. And in Nippon Paint, we look at customers, community, and our own people first, and when we do that, actually automatically the purpose of business happens, and ultimately the profit comes in. So when we started in India, way back in 2006, that's when IGBC, Indian Green Building Movement, also was gaining momentum. And we were, when you start a business, we just think of what should be our communication, how should we approach the market, how do we do that? So India was already with a lot of big players, established in this country, but we found a very apt opportunity for us to grab on. That was the green. It was the green movement, and the philosophy of green. So for us, right from the day when we signed on the dotted lines of the founding member of IGBC, under the leadership of Dr. Prem Jain and IGBC core leadership team. So we were being, like what Ms. Rekha was talking about, we wanted to practice and then preach rather than only preaching. So we were in all, supporting the cause, the green cause for this in this country. And of course, first thing was to get our process green certified. Whatever we do outside India doesn't matter in India. For Indian consumer, if I say that I'm a Japanese company, he'll say, so what? You be a Japanese company. But we were very clean. We were very clear on that, and said that, when IGBC came with this green core rating, or the CIA came with the green core rating, we immediately latched onto it, and we got our manufacturing process completely green. So even today, I tell people who visit my plant, or when I invite my customers or any specifiers to my plant, I say, paint means it smells. That's the basic properties of a paint. Paint means it has to smell. But you come to my factory, you don't feel that paint smell. That's definition I give them. And so rating is something which people have created it, but how do you practice yourself is something which has taken us to the next level. So today we are the gold rated Greenco. So when Anand was telling me that he is in Greenco Summit, I said like, oh my God, I missed it. Of course, there are other things in my professional career we need to attend to. But we used to participate in all the events. So Greenco was the first thing which we did, and then subsequently, when Green Pro came, I was very honored enough to be part of the discussions. The chairman of Green Pro, Mr. Parshuram, took me into all the discussions, and then we were part of it, and we were the first to get our product certified as Green Pro. So today we have a unique distinction of the manufacturing process being green, and the products which come out of that is also green. So to put it in the perspective, or Parashur's words, he says that not only your kitchen is green, but the products which come out of that is also green. So these are some things which we claim to be as paint is a paint, not much of difference between X company's paint and Y company's paint, but how you prepare it, how do you make it more environmental friendly, more plant friendly is what adds on to us. At the same time, we don't compromise. In fact, we were very, very clear on when we're doing the Green Pro certification and all, the basic functions of a paint it should perform. Paint should be protective, paint should be decorative, and then it should also do the functional properties, right? Washability and antifungal, antibacterial, all these things are the main functions of a paint. So our green products, Green Pro certified paints do all the functions, plus it is completely green. So I was just going to be part of the session of Green Pro Summit, which is going to happen next week in Bangalore. So there was a LinkedIn post by IGBC Green Pro committee. So I reposted it saying that today Green Pro certified building products are available across the counter. Like I was referring to Nippon Paint only, across the counter. And I can gladly say that, I'm proud to say that Amazon has started selling my products. Amazon has started just about 2 weeks back. We signed contract with Amazon. Tinted paints. We were just puzzled, like how did Amazon come out with that option, or how did they solve the puzzle of tinting? You place an order for a color, it will reach you in just 2 days time. So Nippon Paint Green Pro certified paints today are available in Amazon. So you can buy that. Yeah, so that's how we have come through this journey. And IGBC, I would say we have been part of IGBC rather than saying that IGBC was part of us. We have been part of IGBC. It's been an excellent journey, Anand. And for the participants, so of course, what Dr. Velan said is what I would like to reiterate. I'm not an engineer. I'm just pure a salesman. So I can say follow what he said. So there is a lot of opportunity. You can see that numbers, 1 lakh APs are needed every year, and we are only 6,500 APs. So, and I can proudly say that I've been close to about 18 employees of Nippon Paint are IGBC AP certified. My team, yeah. Yeah, Anand, you are muted.
Thank you, Mr. Magesh Anand, for taking us through a beautiful journey, how you have set up the house in order by quoting the example of kitchen. Actually, nobody will forget. I think, in fact, every interaction with you in this particular forum, I learn a lot. So nobody will forget, because everything, whatever you starts from the home. So kitchen should be not about the product which has come out, how the kitchen is very clean, people friendly, all that, and the entire product range. Congratulations for being available at Amazon. Every color and every palette is available and getting dispatched to your houses or office and within 2 days. That's amazing. Thanks for taking us through this journey. I'll come back to you, sir. I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Another eminent person with the enormous amount of distinguished credentials and a deeper commitment for sustainability and a strong supporter of IGBC is Mr. Subrato De, who has joined us. He has a very, very unique profile. He's a director of Greenfield and Engineering Project in Kiwane Labway, India. It's a very unique organization, and he's overseeing the construction of larger R&D lab. because always we in IGBC believe in innovation, and R&D labs and measuring devices are equally important. So he is heading the entire R&D lab of esteemed organizations. Mr. Subrato Day is also an IGBC accredited professional. We are very proud, sir. You have joined the elite 6,500 IGBC AP, whom we salute every single day. They are the real true champions on ground, helping all. So you are also one amongst them, leading the. You are a torchbearer and a pioneer, and he is also instrumental. Not only he becoming an IGBC AP and his own organization, he has motivated, inspired enormous amount of people within his organization, Kiwanir Labway India, to also go through the IGBC's training program, IGL, and encourage them to become an IGBC accredited professionals in his organization every single year. It is not a one-time activity. Again, we IGBC thank you, Mr. Subrato Day, for a wonderful commitment on, because at the end of the day, whether it is IGBC rating program or IGL or education, people is always eccentric. We don't see the buildings. Buildings are built for people only. At the end of the day, whether it is an office or a home or a metros or anything, it is always people. So every single initiative of IGBC since 2001, whether it is small, big, or tall or flat, everything revolves around people, adding value to the people. So you are a part of this entire huge organization involved in the labs and others. So I would start with, in your own opinion, having heard from Velan from the mostly from the developer's perspective, and Mr. Magesh Anand from leading the global 140-year-old paint manufacturing giant from that. So now I'll change the completely spotlight. So what is, in your opinion, based on you yourself walk the talk? It is not that coming from the through your thick hat or because you already walked through the training programs and become a what is the role of green building accredited professionals more so with IGBC APs, and what is the demand as you see in your interactions, engagement with the Indian construction stakeholders presently as we are talking in 2023, as well as say 5 years down the lane? What are the future markets? Over to you, Mr. Subrato.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So basically, I've started this journey, by learning it in a deeper way and then practicing it out, in a global company called Sabic. So, basically what I mean to say, what things inspire me is basically when you go through a course and then you learn about it and then you practice it, it gets stick, or you get absorbed to all this knowledge. So we have done, in Kiwani, lot of labs. So initial labs were all simple labs with, and people occupying for their chemistry, synthesis, spectroscopy or biosimilar. So we have built all kind of lab in this country as well as outside the country. Now, we never thought of, changing this lab to a green building lab, because the labs are energy guzzlers. These are HVAC. If you say, 100 kilowatt is a one lab load, in that 60 kilowatt is our HVAC load in that particular lab, and the 40% is your, ancillary equipments or your lab equipment, or, some of the external outdoor beauty energy. But 60 to 65% is your energy within the lab. Now, how this lead AP or this accredited profession help us? Basically, I have 40 people used to report to me in our design. This is a design build company which design the labs and which used to construct the lab, and then we validate the lab. Now we have found that when the team started learning it out, their interaction with the external consultant, their interaction with the user group, their interaction with the owner groups, okay, it was so streamlined because they understand the subject. They don't do anything which is over designed. For example, I'll give you a live example. Any consultant of electrical, you choose it from the market. We have found they never challenge to owner that your load, what you have given, is not going to run in 24/7. It is a some inductive loads. It is for a particular peak period. Now the same lead AP accredited or lead AP profession will challenge it that his lighting load should be less than 0.3 watt per square meter. His energy load in the lab should not cross, for the other equipment, not more than 1 watt per square meter or 2 watt per square meter. General loads are similarly same. The lux level should be, within 300, and wherever it is operation, it is 400. So they have learned it in that way. Wherever, we have to use a 5-star rated equipment, where we have to use the transformer, which should be a low loss transformer. So all this comes into our design when we present it to the owner, when we design it, for our user group. And my team, those who are lead AP, know this subject in depth. So the electrical get addressed the same way when we see PHE. So we have water, like Mahesh has told, we should not pollute water, we should not pollute air, we should take care of indoor quality. So for us also, these three elements matter. We make sure that our lab should not be an energy guzzler. We make sure system should not be a guzzler. Again, water waste should not be there. So consumption of waterless like aerators, low flow fixtures. Our flush tanks are designed for harvested 100%. If we make sure that the water from the terrace goes into the water tank, so that for one particular season they do not have to buy it out. So we make sure all these PHEs things are being taken care. Same thing when we do ETP, STP, we make sure that it is get treated and then we get recycled. So as we mentioned, the marks are there for, to rating building. But for us, the thing is that if I can, as an organization and as a person in a leadership role, where we can bring a transformation on the people, and these 10 people tomorrow when they become a leader, and then they transform another 20 people, 30 people, that's the achievement, because that will know that really my country, okay, where today there is a shortfall of water, there is a shortfall of energy, and in coming years, we are going to put 1200 gigawatt. I was talking to Schneider. They are going to put 1200 gigawatt of energy to support the coming 20 billion square feet of floor area which is going to come, and the rural development. This is a much challenge that the people, those who are building the labs, building the infrastructure, need to have a knowledge in the background, so that we can clean it up, the over design stuff. We understand the product which needs to be used, and we also understand that what we should do or we should not do. One more example which I want to bring it in this forum is basically Kivani as a company, and also we do lot of work for our bring this lab with a new futuristic lab. Like, we have already invested money 4 years back to make it, bringing the lab to net zero. And these things, who understand, with our fellow team of AP, who was taking it forward to bring the lab as a net zero in next 5 to 7 years, and connecting this lab to the AI. So we have invested money to get, our lab to future AI, so that these labs can talk and inform to the group leaders in the lab, to tell them how healthy your labs are, how energy efficient your lab is, how you are taking care of your load, your electricity, your water inside the lab, your gas system inside the lab, and then make your behavioral change, or make the more lab efficient by doing something which they should not supposed to do, or they are thinking this doesn't cost us. Okay, we are trying to bring it, and this is where my team is working, and they have already done quite a few example. They have set it up in the industries, which is working fine, and you know that's how we are multiplying it out. Now we are doing a one of the greenfield building, which is AI enabled labs, okay, of 2 lakh square feet in Hyderabad. and this building will speak by itself. And it's our designer is also a part of this session, Mr. Hafiz, who is driving this with our lead consultant, who is also working with me for last 12 years, Mr. Ninad. And we all are working towards it to make our lab as a self-sufficient labs. So there where we are talking ki lead EP, plays a very important role to understand and then deliver this thing to the owners group.
Yeah, thank you, Subrato, for highlighting what is the role of IGBC AP accredited professional. Brilliantly brought out. In fact, it is music to my ears actually. IGBC training programs conducted by Rekha and her team is the one which equips people with whether I'm not an electrical engineer. You said that by becoming an IGBC AP, you can challenge the numbers, the LPDs and EPDs. I thought it's only the engineers and architects will understand. So this IGBC AP very beautifully articulated how IGBC AP professionals, IGBC accredited professionals are equipped with various norms like lighting power density used to be 2.5 to 3 watts per square feet when we started this movement 20 years ago. Now, when you go through the IGBC training program or become an IGBC AP, then you are equipped that LPD, popularly known as LPD stands for lighting power density, cannot be beyond 1 watts per square feet. And we also, Rekha and the team also says that 0.45 is achievable and is operational in many buildings, which are all world class, including Magesh's paint manufacturing unit and Dr. Whelan's, all the projects and many more across the country. That is amazing. As well as similar to the data center and others, that is what I'm able to compare. The Kiwane group, you and you are all involved in very unique setting up a labs which may have a very unique equipments which may consume, as you rightly said, energy guzzlers, and that is where again IGBC was the one who brought in the energy power equipment power density. We call it as the EPDs, which brings in, because otherwise normally people will say create a white elephant. Tongue in cheek, and I can always say that you beautifully articulated how IGBC APs will not allow the white elephant to be brought in, because somebody may say that the plug point is going to have a O1 or a testing machine which may be so many kilowatts, but actually it may be watts actually. So by having some kind, so that requires enormous amount of deeper understanding, and in order to challenge the numbers brought in by the consultants and architects. Thank you. And then as you are actively involved in, you and your team are involved in various IGBC certification of buildings, not only your own labs across the country. And you being an IGBC AP, we welcome you all. I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. So I am turning the spotlight again to our friend Mr. Magesh Anand. As you rightly said, have a large people who are more into sales and marketing. They may not be come from a rich background on architecture and engineering. They may be having an engineering background, but day in and day out, they deal with the interior designers, project owners, specifiers on the products, and it's equally a tough job. So, what motivated you to dive into? Because when I go to a developer's office, there are hundreds of engineers. When I go to an architectural firm, hundreds of architects are there. So it is like taking a fish to the water for them to becoming an IGBC AP. Whereas when you talk about the marketing guys, they are equally talented, knowledgeable, but they are driven by a lot of other challenges. I'm driven by the numbers, the sales, the targets, the meeting, the availability of the products on the shelf. So how you motivated the Nippon Paint marketing team to become an IGBC AP? You tell us the story and how the individuals who have passed, and you are also been awarded, if I'm not wrong, if my memory goes correct, you are the one of the unique organizations which has got the Green Championship Award for nominating more and more marketing and sales and specifiers from Nippon Paint to undergo the IGBC AP. And what is the feedback? The team members who report to you, how they feel after becoming an IGBC AP, and what is their experience when they go to an architectural firm or after becoming an IGBC AP? What was their confidence levels and what was their uniqueness? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, so Anand, so basically after we becoming the founding member, we were participating all the events what IGBC was into it. So it has to inculcate within the people's interest, So the first thing it started was like we were part of all the exhibitions which has been conducted by IGBC. That was manned by my team, right? My people who are meeting we have a projects team which which work only with the builders, architects, specifiers, and all. Later on, we also started a connect team, which is basically only to specifiers. So their job is basically to work on the engagement initiatives with the architects, specifiers, and interior designers. So we thought that, when they talk to, I mean, like what Dr. Velan was telling, they have to be on the same page when they go and meet a architect, or when they go and meet an interior designer, or when they go and meet a specifier or a PMC or whatever be there. So, I mean, that's when we thought, like, okay, let us give them this exposure. It's part of upgrading their own professional experience. So we just tried, and they were also very keen to do that. So first, I think the first nomination was about 20 odd people, and then most of them passed the exam. And I think IGBC also helped them to prepare for the exam, and then proper training was given to them, and they went through that, and then they passed it. So after becoming an IGBC AP, they are very confident in meeting a specifier, and then they don't have any doubt in their minds when they talk. And the initial discussion itself will start with the green design, or I mean that starts off like that. And also, as part of our community outreach programs, we work on the painter community and also the architect community. And we have a AYDA program, which is the Asia's Young Designer Award, which is conducted across the globe in almost 18 countries. And we work with the upcoming the last year architecture students, and they participate in this event, architecture and ID interior designing students. And then and we have been doing it for the past 8 years in India now. And this is a program where we give an exposure for the Indian architecture and interior designer students who win the program. They go for a 2 weeks paid scholarship in Harvard University on School of Design. That's the exposure which we give to the architecture students. So when my team means, I'm talking about the marketing professionals or the connect team people, who, when they interact with them, they should be updated in knowledge with respect to whatever they discuss with the architect. So that's how we developed it, and then it's been now part of it. So we make it a point to anybody who meets the direct interaction with the customers. Our customers are primarily the specifiers, engineers, architects, builders, and those are the people. So we made it a point for them to become an IGBC AP, so that it is easy for them to interact. Probably, of course, there is a inner motive also. It will be easy for them to close the sale also. that's also part of it. So in marketing, they call 4 Ps, which everybody knows about it. But in sustainability, we have created, in Nippon India, we have created as a process, product, people, and planet. So process is my manufacturing process. The product is the Green Pro certified products, and my people are IGBC AP certified. And of course, it helps for the planet. So that's how we coined this terminology. And then probably we might have to build upon this and make it as a long-term program. It's not something which started and ended it. So we have been doing this for the past now almost 4 years now. And people who have been and of course, these are sponsored by Nippon Paint for those employees. And even after they leave Nippon Paint, they still remain to be IGBC APs. That's the important thing for us. Yeah. So, and it's like what we work is for the common cause. So we are much delighted for that. And then, yeah.
It's amazing, sir. It is like icing on the cake. It is one of the amazing response. All of them are good. It is, in fact, it is very, very motivating actually, because as you mentioned, you are equipping them in order to be more comfortable and man the stalls, specifiers, and you summed it up by saying that at the end of the day, even if they leave your firm, they are carrying that IGBC AP tag all along, which comes, and they are involved in a way. So that reminds me, when we talk about the green buildings, it's all about technology, we think. Whereas for me, the other 3 T's I have, one is technology is always there. Second T is the talent. you are able to identify the young talented guys on the sales and marketing who are may not have an architectural or civil electrical background. You have the talent identified to become an IGBC AP. And the third one, even if they leave also, you wanted to motivate them saying that you should become an IGBC. Anyhow, you will be in the entire spectrum and the entire place. That talks about the third T for me is the trust. So it's not only the technology, the first T, identifying the talent, trust. That is equally important. Whatever today I may be with somebody, tomorrow if I'm going to sell blocks also, the U values and others learned through the IGBC AP. Full credit and grateful to Nippon Paints and Magesh leadership. Wonderful, sir. It's really like I get a goosebumps when you talk about the trust and the people and all that. Definitely, it is very, very touching. So I'll come back to you for another very interesting question. Subrato, you mentioned about you are involved in very unique projects like big time names. You are world class multinationals. You said now IGBC is closely working with more than 300 MNCs, which are all adopting IGBC's rating program in India. Be it, I'm just taking some names, Wells Fargo's or the banks across the world, both in the Western world and the Eastern world. When they establish in India, they are all doing it. Nestle's and others, manufacturing, Snyder's, whomsoever you mentioned about setting up the lab. So all of them have made it as a mandate. Minimum, it should be an IGBC gold, or now in the last 3 years, it should be a minimum IGBC net zero energy to start with. So the right from the Brookfield to CapitaLand to Indian MNCs like Infosys, TCS, and Wipros, as well as the multinationals, the Nokias, and all of them are adopting IGBC's rating program. In your opinion, when they come with very unique lab requirement, be it a water equipment manufacturer or an electronic equipment, so they are all very unique to that. So how you are able to experience, you are able to give the world class, because IGBC's idea is a lab in India which is IGBC certified, adopted any one of the 31 different IGBC rating programs should be as good or even much better than the any labs across the world. Because my chairman always says that we don't want to be a followers, or we don't want to be a fast followers. We wanted to be India's. It is India's story now. India's time to lead actually. So what you, from your experience on becoming an IGBC AP, and your team has an enormous amount of IGBC AP, how you are raising the bar? Because 25 years ago when I just joined CII, the number of cranes, I'm equally patriotic, the number of cranes were only limited to only metros. I used to click cranes when I used to go for the first overseas visit. Now, thanks to all the stakeholders and the great champions like you all, after 30 years fast forward, every small and a big site in India, even residential properties, they are using highly sophisticated cranes for lifting the products and material and the people movement. So how we can build up the story? We don't want to believe only in the leapfrogging. Leapfrogging is running only one patches. We wanted a pole vault. Pole vault change the entire game towards pole vaulting. So based on your experience, how IGBC AP infrastructure,
so basically,
unique labs, over to you.
yeah, basically what I will say, we set up over the past 10 years, we set up a process in the company that, there are certain guidelines when we release a PO. So every projects or every campus, we build, whether the clients we come across where the clients are interested to go with the green building, because there is always a notion that green buildings are expensive. Okay, because you use DGU glasses, and we we generally do in our old system. We are happy with the single gaze glasses. This is one small example. So there is a mindset where the people comes which are non-MNC, but equally bigger like MNC company. So same way, so there are different varieties of the owners which are proprietary, which are non-proprietary, which are private limited, and the MNC. So we had a difficulty of penetrating it out. So we made one, as a underlying statement in our company that whichever project we do, which is more than 15,000 square feet and above, we will definitely go for a certification. So we will definitely go for a lead certification. Whatever the challenge comes in between, we will face it. So first is, we set up our lab data sheet where we captures all the requirement of different varieties, which tells us what type of energies, what type of finishes, and X, Y, Z come into picture. Second thing which we have give a comfort level to the client, that I will not charge you any extra rupee what you will pay me, but I will still get you a gold or a platinum. So we, one more underlying statement which we made it, that every building we certified, it should be gold or a platinum. So till now we got 6, out of that only 1 gold for Pfizer, rest all are platinum. Now this year we are approaching 5 more project, which are all going for platinum. One Kiwani office will go for a gold because it is in a place where I cannot do renewable energy and so on. So what I mean to say, we have set up a process in our system by which when the purchase order goes to HVAC guy, I have a guideline of IGBC guideline, that what HVAC contractor should take care, what interior contractor should take care, what plumbing contractor should take care. So we have put on this as a Bible, and it becomes a part of my EHS and a part of my IGBC document which goes to the vendor. So that's how I implement. The portion which I have to address it is with the client, to make them aware that this labs, whatever we built it, it has to be more sustainable in terms of energy, water and air. And this part we take it up. Sometimes we absorb the cost. So since it gives me more sustainability, because like how architects see that his building always look great whenever people passing by, and he asks, who is the architect for this building, they say so and so. The same way we also, with the same passion, we also built our building, and we say that if the client is not interested to pay the fees, we will pay the fees and get it certified. But the thing is, whatever the element of IGBC guideline which has been set up should be the part of this building. So we make sure that this is there in our design, this is there in our PO, and during the implementation, since my project guys, my design guys are already aware of IGBC guideline, so they make sure that this get implemented at the site. So this helps me out, and as I mentioned to you, going forward, it will be more stringent and stringent. The net zero will definitely trigger it out, which makes the building to become more sustainable. And we are preparing ourselves from now onwards, and selling this concept to the owner who is investing money on R&D labs or the infrastructure which is going to come. So that's how we are addressing it out.
Thank you, Mr. Subrata. In fact, it is very encouraging, especially your last phrases. You are not only settling for the platinums. Now you wanted to get into the net zero. Should be your IGBC's net zero energy. IGBC is one of the world's first council in the whole world to come out with stage-wise or a step-wise approach on net zero. IGBC net zero energy in 2018 we launched. The Honorable Minister for MUPA launched it. Then IGBC net zero water, IGBC net zero waste management, and IGBC net zero carbon. So that should become your minimum, because in IGBC we don't believe in doing less of bad. We in IGBC always believe in doing more of good. So more of good means when you do beyond the glasses, the paints and others are all coming up in a very big way. Even Ms. Magesh and the team beautifully says that the paints which can absorb the pollutants, the CO2. So definitely we should think about getting into the next league, again pole vaulting into the IGBCs, net zero energy and water. That should be your minimum guideline before you sign the POs. Thank you. And the last question for Mr. Magesh is, now everybody is starting talking about the artificial intelligence, machine learning, as well as the chat GPT. So based on your wisdom, here, see, the technology will take over. Otherwise, I'm sitting in Pune. Wayland is about to board from the flight from Hyderabad. You are in Bangalore. They from one of the customers or clients' lab. Everybody is talking to all the 200 odd participants. The technology is there. We are welcome. But when I spoke to some of the leading chat GPTs and others, they are all saying that AI will be there, but HI, the human interference, will always be there. The art, the science, the creativity, always going to be the human intelligence, not only the artificial intelligence. So, in your wisdom, based on your wisdom, what are the future needs and demands and expectations from the green businesses, be it from the small homeowner who is going to construct only 800 square feet, to the data centers, to the factory, and to the exclusive labs like this? So how do we in IGBC wanted to prick your brains on the sustainability solutions are all up there in abundance, but how do we scale it up? How do we speed? Because now in Hyderabad we have not got the rains, the climate crisis and the global warming, the northern part it's flooded, and the Himachals and others are all flooded. So I don't want to go into the negative elements of it. So in your wisdom, how do we scale up the two S's, the scale and the speed with which the sustainability, the third S, will be implemented so that the IGBC APs are all well prepared, because we are running against the time, or in fact, we should have done all this. That is what my chairman also says, that yesterday, not tomorrow. So what is your based on your rich experience and expertise, I would love to prick your brain on these lines, Mr. Magesh.
Yeah, so I also go by what chairman says. All these things should have been done yesterday, because it's not the question of when are we going to do. We must do it right now. That's the message which we all talk in all the forums when we discuss about it. And for the IGBC APs, of course there is a demand which is there out in the market, and people should accept it, and they should be ready for taking up the challenges. And the scalability can happen only if you keep talking to others, and then they understand it in a better way. For example, we have a product, as you are rightly saying, we have a product which absorbs formaldehyde from the atmosphere. Unless and until I go and talk to them and I explain to the people about the features or about the benefits, and in fact, the benefit was explained to me by Kamal Mittal Saab, when he said that, breathing pure oxygen improves the cognitive ability of children, elderly people, even for adults also. So that's the way we communicate. So when we started communicating, and there is no other message, you cannot explain this over a film or a commercial or anything of that sort. Personally, you have to conduct forums, or you have to explain them with real-time observing situations. So that actually that's what my part of my APs do. My team, even though they talk about other products, they talk about, at least they take 5 minutes off and they talk about this product, which is very, very unique and which is very innovative product. And that's how it has to be like, So developments, the scientific innovations will happen, but human intervention is most important. And that is going to be there in the future. Nobody can defer that. Only thing is we should use that as a tool to improve ourselves. So in the recent air-centric program, what we discussed, how IoT can help to breathe into your buildings. That was one of the agenda point, and there was Girish, IGBC green consultant, was speaking about that. How IoT can measure it, measure the air purity of your indoor, and then take corrective actions. And we have to use those tools to do this, and so that ultimately, end of the day, the occupants and the people who live inside the built environment have to be safe, and then their well-being is most important. So use the artificial intelligence or whatever available going to come in for the benefit of the occupants and who are going to live under the built environment. That's my prediction.
Thank you, Mr. Magesh. These are all the golden words from the rich experience and expertise.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask the last question to Mr. Subrato Ray. I would request Magesh also stay back for a few minutes.
Sure.
So, the contribution of Kivane and your leadership is amazing, especially the number of IGBC accredited professionals you bring in every single year after year is amazing. So, as Mr. Magesh also mentioned, this is a time for all of us together in the construction industry stakeholder to act now. We in IGBC always believe in action. So how this transition into, we call it as a transition into net zero carbon. It is not that overnight we cannot become a net zero carbon. So in your experience, based on nominating more people for IGBC AP, doing many things innovatively to pull in, whether you beautifully said that even if the client is not interested in IGBC certification for the building, still you are able to convince them gold is not going to cost from IGBC a bomb, silver you can do it. So what is the feedback you receive from the colleagues or officers whom you are nominated from your labs? or the construction and design process who have gone through our IGBC training program. So that will be an amazing experience, and word from the horse's mouth, that is from you and from your team's feedback on gaining the knowledge, whether I am a civil engineer, expert in structural engineer, engineer in designing the very good labs with the unique skill set, how this IGBC AP has topped up my skill sets on the carpet, this and that, which they are able to add value, and how they are able to inspire whole lot of people within your organization and other value chains also. I see everybody, we in IGBC believe in partnership is the new leadership. So when you talk to your own clients, how their IGBC APs are able to motivate them to become a green building or green building certification, or ultimately we need them to also be an IGBC AP. Over to you, sir.
So you're on mute, sir.
I think you're on mute, sir. Sir, you're on mute. Sorry.
So I will say that the first step is always difficult, so when we have put on the first step, you have all the difficulties which has come across to me. But over a period of time, when, we put forward to our design, and the design people have taken it positive. The first batch of 12 people appeared and 9 got passed. Now again, there are 12 people this year. They will appear, 12 or 20 people they will appear, and then we know that the 9 or 10 people get passed out of it. But the challenge is also my project guys. The project guys, those who spend a lot of time at the site level, how to motivate them. So I have put my design guy on the front footed, because they are also visiting the site. So they have also, demonstrated it out, their experiences to the project team. And this time, 3 project guys are also sitting for the exams. So I'm saying our moves are bit by bit, but it is on the positive side. So I have 70 people in my project team. Okay. Out of that, the target is next 5 years, more than 50% of the people write this exam, understand the, requirement of IGBC, because when they, pass this exam, their body language to talk to the client changes, absolutely changes. Now they are knowledgeable to speak. So knowledge is the main, I can say, epicenter for talking. So they know about the requirement of HVAC, they know the requirement of electrical, they require the requirement of PHE, and then they're talking and convincing, client become more easier, because they always there in front of client every day. So the challenge now is that the organization is also growing, and the more and more people will join, and this criteria has to sustain. So we have forming a team this year, which will lead this whole value chain. As you mentioned, it will lead this value chain and make sure, along with HR, they drive this whole system of getting more IGBC AP into the system, because it helps me in design, it helps me in project, and then it also improves, the communication with the client, and sharing knowledge, making the client side agreeable to it. And we are also telling from the client side, the project manager to appear for the exam. So this time we have, given that since we are paying it, if the client side, those who are very closely working with us, we always tell them, you appear for the exam from thing, no need that you have to pay. Since we are paying it out, it's a very low fees. We will definitely encourage them to join this out. So this way we make sure that people understand the sustainability part from their, from the knowledge stream, and they really, in reality, it should go into their DNA, so unless until it goes into their DNA, the things improvements becomes little challenging.
Amazingly beautiful. Every word you mentioned, Subrata, is amazing. Knowledge is the wealth. At the end of the day, that is one. And the body language you mentioned, so that is a really heartening for all of us. And Magesh also said the common language. You said the body language. Instead of being very submissive and not so comfortable, the moment I become an IGBC AP, somebody, even a tough client, is asking why I have to go for a low VOC paint, why I have to go for a low E glass, why you have to do for this one. So they are all well equipped. It is very, very heartening to hear you. And then, as you rightly said, it is not going to cost them a bomb. And as Mr. Magesh and others also said, the IGBC, National Executive Board members, and other companies, they are incentivizing people to become an IGBC AP. Some of them are sent to overseas offices, overseas tours actually. And then some Singapores and Thailands, they had an interaction. We also set up a meeting with the Singapore Green Building Council only for 1 hour. Rest is all they can do whatever they want. Or the promotions, even the government and PSUs, when they sit for the every 3 year or 4 year, what you call the promotions and the designations and the grades and the others, if they are an IGBC AP, it is given some weightages.
Correct.
Or some organizations, they ask the individual to pay for the IGBC AP exam, which is only 5,000 rupees odd or something. And if they pass it, they reimburse it. So in order to motivate them, because if it's organizations, money means I will think that typically I as an engineer also used to look for the syllabus book only 1 day before the exam. So that should not happen. So we commit yourself by paying that 5,000, put your best efforts. Once you clear it, that is reimbursed, apart from the other amazing other motivational and inspiring whatever the incentives they give. So once again, we in IGBC always believe in engaging the stakeholders, and more than 200-300 participants are listening to both Dr. Velan, Mr. Magesh Anand, and Mr. Subrato De, as well as to my colleague architect Rekha's presentation on IGBC AP. So as you all heard from all the three Dans of the industry from a diversified background, so we in IGBC encourage all the participants to be in touch with our colleagues. Not necessarily everybody should appear for exam tomorrow. Whatever concerns, any questions you have, please be in touch with my colleague Rekha, Anish, Himanshu, and me also. So be a part of the Indian Green Building movement, which is happening. So as we said, we in IGBC always believe in enhancing the quality of the life. At the end of the day, even if you're not convinced fully, what is the one thing we want to do from IGBC is enhancing the quality of the life of every single living being, including the flora and the fauna. So that is what we are all engaged in. I, as Rekha and our chairman and others also encouraged Mr. Magesh and Subrato, please be a part of the IGBC's unique training program, which will equip you in appearing for the exam in a much easier way. And there is a IGL, that is Indian Green Building Council's Green League. We popularly call it as IGL, is about to happen the first week of August. My colleagues Himanshu and others will be more than happy to be part of it, because that comes up with enormous amount of packaging. So the IGL, moment you become an IGL, you can appear for the exam one time. It is a complimentary. You will be invited as Mr. Magesh Anand, as being a co-chair for Chennai. Chennai is hosting the Green Building Congress for the 21st edition. Please, all of you are entitled. So when you participate in IGL, which attracted more than 150 participants in the first edition, couple of months or last month only. So I would sincerely urge each one of you to consider being a part of IGL, which will equip you to understand the 5 offered days on electronic version only. Wherever you are sitting, the programs can be attended. Then it will allow you to be allow you to appear for the exam. Then you can become an invitee, as a special invitee for the Green Building Congress on 23rd, 24th, and 25th of November. Kindly block your diary. Please block your diary on 23rd, 24th, and 25th. This year's, as Mr. Magesh mentioned about decarbonizing building, is the biggest agenda IGBC has taken through the IGBC Net Zero movement. So decarbonizing is the biggest theme which revolves around this year's Green Building Congress. How India should be advancing the net zero based on all our rich experience on working with stakeholders like you. It is happening in Chennai Trade Center, which is one of the iconic exhibition centers of the country. Please, all of you are invited. All the participants are invited to be part of the Green Building Congress, 23rd, 24th, and 25th November. In fact, if Magesh agrees, based on the time available, we can visit to the factory. I had done many a times. You can all enjoy. Seeing is believing. You can go to his manufacturing facilities and other equipments from Subrato Day and others. Also, we can arrange a wonderful visit to places in order to see how these green building features are impacting the lives in a positive way with your own eyes. And IGBC certified projects are humongous in Chennai also. So once again, we in IGBC thank Dr. Velan, Mr. Magesh Anand, Mr. Subrato Day for sparing their valuable almost 2 hours, sharing the rich experience and wisdom, which in fact further motivate each one of the participants to become an IGBC AP and be a part of the IGBC's all the initiatives across the country, across the chapters. So we in IGBC, once again, we are all grateful to all the three giants of the industry. And I thank my colleagues Himanshu and team and Rekha for sharing their thoughts and motivating all the other members to be a part of the IGBC AP. So over to Rekha and Himanshu for any final words.
Thank you, Anand, and thank you, Mr. Subrata, and as well as Mr. Mahesh being part of this. So it's
Most
been
welcome.
privileged
Most
to
welcome.
have.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
See
you.
you all
Thank you,
at
sir.
the Green Pro Summit if you all coming. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
bye.
Mahesh. Thank you,
Bye.
Subrata ji. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rekha. Thank you, Himanshu.
Thank you, sir.